Level 1. The breach that wasn't supposed to matter. The knock comes at 3:17 a.m. Not loud, not aggressive, controlled. 3 knocks, even spacing. You stop typing. Your screen still glows in the dark, terminal window open, cursor blinking like it knows something you don't. Your apartment smells like stale coffee and overheated plastic. Your laptop fan spins hard, pushing heat into the silence. The knock comes again, 3 times. You don't move, because you already know. Nobody knocks like that unless they know exactly who you are and exactly what you've done. You close the laptop anyway, not because it matters, because it feels like it should. You open the door. 2 men, plain clothes, clean shoes, no urgency, no visible weapons. The dangerous ones never show weapons. Put on shoes, one of them says. Not a request. You don't ask questions, because this is the moment every hacker eventually reaches. Not arrest, selection. They already know everything. The cryptocurrency wallets you thought were anonymous, the Brazilian proxy chains, the server in Helsinki you used to siphon credentials from a mid-tier financial firm. You made $12,700 from that job. It felt like freedom. It wasn't. It was visibility. They sit you in the back of a car that smells new. No handcuffs. That's how you know this isn't punishment. It's recruitment. They bring you to a building with no sign, no logo, just reinforced glass and cameras you can't see but know are there. Inside, a man waits. Gray hair, no expression, no introduction. He slides a folder across the table. Inside are screenshots of your life. Every login, every breach, every dollar, every mistake. You're talented, he says. Not praise, assessment. Then he says the only sentence that matters. You don't work for yourself anymore. That's the rule. You never did. You just didn't know it yet.
Level 2. The contracts that don't exist. Your first payment arrives without warning. $8,000. No sender, no trace, just numbers appearing in a wallet you never gave anyone. You don't ask how. You already know they're watching everything. Your assignments arrive the same way, encrypted messages, short instructions, specific targets, never explanations. Map vulnerabilities in regional telecom provider. Deadline 72 hours. You don't know why. You don't need to. Your job isn't to understand, it's to access. You work from the same apartment, same desk, same chair, but it feels different now because you're not hiding anymore. You're being used. You spend 19 hours inside their systems, careful, precise. You find the weakness, an outdated authentication protocol buried in a secondary server. You don't exploit it, you report it. That's the rule. You don't act, you reveal. They decide what happens next. Your payment doubles, $16,000. You realize something. You're not avoiding governments anymore. You're owned by one. Not officially, not publicly, but completely. You stop taking freelance jobs. You stop using your old aliases. You stop thinking of yourself as independent, because independence was always an illusion. You just didn't know who you belonged to yet. Level 3. The ghost access. They move you, not physically, digitally. You receive credentials one morning. No explanation, just access. Government networks, defense infrastructure, systems you never thought you'd even see, let alone touch. You hesitate, not out of fear, out of understanding.
Crossing this line changes everything. This isn't hacking anymore. This is penetration with permission, which somehow feels worse, because now there are no rules protecting anyone, including you. You test carefully, minimal footprint, no noise. You move like a ghost, because ghosts survive. You find flaws they didn't know existed, authentication bypasses, memory leaks, back doors left by other hackers. You realize something disturbing. You're not the only one inside these systems. Others have been here. Foreign governments, private contractors, unknown entities. Everyone is watching everyone. You're just another set of eyes now. They increase your payments, $40,000 per month, tax-free, untouchable. You don't celebrate, because money doesn't mean freedom anymore. It means obligation. You're too valuable to lose, which means you're too valuable to escape. Level 4, the weaponization. The first time they ask you to exploit instead of observe, you pause. The message is simple. Disrupt target infrastructure. No ambiguity, no defensive language, just action. You stare at the screen for a long time. This isn't protection. This is attack. You rationalize it. Someone else would do it if you didn't. At least you're careful. At least you're precise. You breach their power grid control systems. Not fully, just enough. You inject instability, temporary outages, controlled damage. You watch the system struggle. You feel nothing. That's what scares you. Not the action, the absence of resistance inside yourself. You get paid $75,000 for that job, one operation, one decision. You realize something important. This isn't about hacking anymore. It's about leverage. You're not a technician. You're a weapon, and weapons don't choose targets. They're aimed. Level 5. The invisible reputation. They stop giving you instructions. They start asking for solutions. Problems arrive without defined answers. Threat actors they can't track. Breaches they can't contain. Systems they don't understand. You handle them all, quietly, efficiently. Your name isn't spoken, but your reputation exists. Inside secure rooms, inside classified briefings. You become a contingency plan. When others fail, they call you. You close holes, you identify infiltrators. Sometimes you remove them, erase access, erase presence, erase history. You understand the real currency now, not money, not skill, trust and fear. They trust you because they fear what happens if they don't control you. You earn $300,000 per year, but you can't spend it normally. You can't explain it. You can't acknowledge it. Your life becomes smaller, more controlled, more isolated. You stop talking to old friends. You stop explaining your work because there's nothing you can say. You don't exist anymore, not officially. Level 6. The authority over systems. You don't just access systems now, you define them. They bring you into rooms with people who outrank generals, people whose decisions never appear in public. They ask what's possible, not what's legal. You explain vulnerabilities in entire nations, financial systems, communications infrastructure, military networks. You show them how fragile everything really is. They listen because you're not guessing. You've already been inside. You stop being an operator. You become an authority. They don't question your methods. They question your limits, which you stop revealing. You realize something important. They need you more than you need them. That's power, but it's also danger, because nobody trusts something they can't control. They increase your security, your isolation, your monitoring, not to protect you, to contain you. You understand. You don't resist. Resistance would confirm their fears, so you stay useful. That's how you survive. Level 7. The asset no one admits exists. You stop receiving payments. You receive privileges instead. Immunity, protection, access. You can travel anywhere. No searches, no questions. Your identity splits. Publicly, you're nobody. Privately, you're essential. You learn things before leaders do. Breaches before they happen. Threats before they form. You prevent wars that never get announced. You sabotage operations that never existed. You shape outcomes nobody will ever attribute to you. You become a myth inside the system, a last resort, a final option. People don't ask for you, they request your involvement, carefully, respectfully, fearfully, because you're no longer just a hacker, you're infrastructure. And infrastructure doesn't retire. It persists until it fails. Level 8. The Ghost Architect. The messages stop, not because they don't need you, because you've already built everything. Backdoors, fail-safes, invisible access points buried deep inside global systems. You don't need instructions anymore. You see everything. Financial anomalies, unusual traffic, silent intrusions. You monitor the world like a nervous system. Not constantly, just enough. You live alone now, not by force, by design, because nobody understands what you've become, and nobody ever will. You don't fear exposure. Exposure would require acknowledgement, and acknowledgement would reveal too much. You exist outside systems now, above them, behind them. You don't hack anymore. You allow things to happen, or prevent them. Small decisions, massive consequences. Nobody knows your name. Nobody knows your face, but everything depends on what you choose not to do. That's the final truth. Ultimate power isn't action, it's restraint. And restraint is lonely, very lonely. Somewhere in a small apartment, a laptop screen glows in the dark. A young hacker stares at a terminal window. He thinks he's alone. He thinks he's invisible. He thinks nobody knows. There's a knock at his door. 3 times, even spacing. You don't move. You already know how this ends.